Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Friday, January 24th, 2014. What a wild morning it is. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 E-mini futures, and you'll see that the futures are down by about 9 points. They were a little bit lower earlier in the session. Again, around 6 o'clock in the morning, futures were below the 1810 level, now bouncing back up to around 1815.50. This is a Friday, so normally the markets generally finish flat to slightly positive. So I think traders right now still have to keep focus of that. Rarely do we get a big Friday decline. Now, there's always a chance of one, but rarely does it happen, and hasn't happened in a while. I'm not sure if we're going to see that today, but either way you slice it or dice it, the futures are down ahead of the opening bell. Looks like there is a lot of problems coming out of South America today. It looks like there's a Argentina currency crisis, and then when you mix that in with the European banks, there's a lot of European presence in South America, especially in Spain. The IBEX 35 today is down about 2.25 points at the moment. The FTSE MIB, which is the Milan market, which is Italy, down about 1.35%. The French CAC 40 is down 1.4%. And the German DAX down about a little over 1%, and the London FTSE down about 1% as well. Remember, London FTSE 100, England can print their own money, but nonetheless, Europe is down across the board. Last night we had the Asian markets mostly lower, with the exception of the Chinese Shanghai Composite finishing up about 0.5%, but the Nikkei 225 was down about 2%. Bombay Sensex Index down about 1.1%. Singapore Straits Times Index down about 0.8%. So either way you slice it or dice it, definitely some weakness out there, and we'll just take it one step at a time at this stage of the game. The one thing we want to talk about today are some stocks that are in motion, and I'm going to start off with a bunch of different names. Starbucks came out with earnings, I believe yesterday after the bell. Stock's trading at $74.34. Closed at $73.39, so I don't see anything great for Starbucks, but I'll tell you what, if the stock sells off, traders can look for a scalp bounce. Scalp is nothing more than a quick day trade around the $71.86 level, so you want to keep that on your radar. Again, this can happen. It can get down there around $71.86. That's where you're probably looking at a quick scalp trade for Starbucks. Looking at a few other of the leaders here, there's some news coming out, I believe, out of Microsoft last night. I think they reported earnings as well. Might have been a little bit better than expected. The stock is trading at $37.22. It closed at $36.05. Ton of resistance right here at around $38.25. So again, watch this level right up here. Gets to around 38.25. That's where Microsoft should hit a ton of resistance. Aggressive traders can probably look to take a scalp short trade up there at that level. Looking over the board a little bit, I do see some movement out of Honeywell this morning. I think they may have reported earnings this morning. The stock was up, now down. Watch 80, right around $88. So $88, that could be your scalp level for Honeywell. I don't know if you want to do anything before that. We'd have to look at some chart patterns once the opening bell rings in about an hour's time. But right now, 88 does look like a pretty good near-term support level for an intraday scalp. Remember, that's just a quick day trade. Okay, so that is a level you want to watch for. Procter & Gamble, I believe, reported earnings as well. Ticker symbol PG, another household name. This stock right now has moved up and then has moved down. There's not much I would do with Procter either way. A level I do like for Procter, if it's sold off sharply today, would be around $76.60. I don't know if we'll see that, but that's my best bet level. $76.60 if it got down there. Nothing I would do ahead of that. Really, the chart is not giving us much of an indication of any other level. So stick with the best levels when in doubt. Don't force anything in the market. It never works. And when you do force it, you force your will upon it, you usually will lose money. Let's take a look at KMB, which is Kimberly-Clark. This is having a really good move. Again, I don't think there's much upside. So while Kimberly-Clark is pretty strong this morning ahead of the opening bell, I think around the 108 level, the stock is probably going to stall out. It may be 109. I don't have the greatest of short levels for it, but I will say this, that you want to leave Kimberly Clark alone here. Don't look to own the stock at these levels. Gets to around 108.18. I'll give you that level, 108.18. That could be a little bit of a short scalp level. So again, it's an aggressive play, but 108.18, you could do a scalp fade. That means shorting the stock just quickly off the level. Okay. Looking at a few other names here, Juniper Networks, JNPR, is catching a pretty big bid. The stock is pretty strong. I'm going to have a gap level for this one. I have gaps today for about 5 different equities, so this will be a gap play, but this is having a nice move higher. But I think we got a good level to pick this one off for a gap trade today. So come on over to the chat room. I'll have that posted up around 9 o'clock, and we'll see how that all plays out. Another equity that I'm looking at this morning is Synaptics, SYNA, ticker symbol SYNA. The stock's up to around 58 level. I don't know if there's much of a play in here at all, so we're going to leave this one alone. Upside should be limited. Maybe it gets to 60. I doubt it, but it could. So we're not going to do much there, but there are a lot of other equities in play. Let's take a look at Discovery, DFS, which is, Discover Card. Right now, this has gone up to around 54. It's starting to pull back. There's nothing I see here that looks really all that worthwhile. It may go either way. I'm not really sure. When unsure, leave it alone. That's the golden rule. Let's take a look at Fifth Third. Right now, this one is another financial equity. It's trading at around 21.52. That's where it closed yesterday, so there's not a lot we could do with this one. We want to see movement. We want to see gaps. Those are the best equities, in my opinion, that make for good trades. Let's take a look at KLAC. These are just all some of the equities that are moving today. Right now, I don't see much upside in this one. Maybe 64.50, 64.40. That would be about it. I'm really not seeing a lot of upside pressure in CLAC, so there's nothing we would do. We won't short that one. We won't buy it. We just leave it alone. It's kind of still at its resistance point. Has a little bit higher to go maybe before it runs into a wall. So there's not much we're going to do with that equity. Now let's look at the oil and gold markets. We'll start off with light sweet crude first. Light sweet crude today is down about 29 cents, but it has been rallying pretty nicely lately. So let's go to the USO, which is a good proxy for light sweet crude. You'll see this is trading at 34.65. Yesterday closed at 34.72. It probably stalls over here, but ultimately oil has an upside bias from what I can tell, but it does need to pull back a little bit or consolidate before maybe the USO making a move to maybe 35.5. So I don't see that upswing today happening in the oil market, but nonetheless, it's still holding up fairly well at the moment. So we want to respect that. I don't know if oil is going to give you any kind of a major sell-off, but it could pull back a little bit today, and it is pulling back a little bit this morning, down 34 cents on light sweet crude, and you can see the USO is down about 10 cents off of its close of yesterday. Let's take a look at the gold market, which is up about $3.50 right now to $1,265 an ounce. Right now, let's go to the GLD, which is a good proxy for gold, and what you'll see here is that this went right up to around 122.50. You can see I have a resistance line for all the members. You can see how gold attacked that line, or the GLD rather, at 122.50 and has pulled back from it. So this is a level we've been watching on the daily chart. Now I think gold is probably going to just chop around for a little while, but nonetheless, it's been a very, very good move on the GLD as of late. GLD probably stalls out a little bit today. The dollar-yen chart is really the catalyst here. I know I don't talk about this all that much, but if you want to find out more about it, join the research center. I'll be talking about it tonight in the nightly video. Dollar-yen chart today has come off the lows pretty decently, and you can see there I had a support level pretty much picture perfect, and you can see how that has bounced. It is still negative on the day, but as the dollar-yen moves higher, gold can move lower, and the dollar-yen probably due for a little bit of a short-term bounce around these levels. That's what it's looking like to me. So again, you're not going to hear this stuff on CNBC, so come on over, join the research center, come over to the intraday stock chat. You'll learn all the intricate parts that move this this big watch that we call the stock market. So a lot of intra-related parts, and again, we'll take it one step at a time. Right now, the futures are down about 9 points. We're going to leave it here short and sweet. Again, I'm not sure how today's going to end up, but I know there's plenty of opportunities in the meantime throughout the trading day, especially in the first couple of hours. With that said, everybody have a great session, and I'll see you on the charts.